This is a warning you may never get from your dentist if the FDA has its way. Mercury amalgam, often mislabeled as silver or fillings, is a primary source of toxic contamination in your mouth, in the water you drink, and the air you breathe. This highly toxic metal is affecting every man, woman, and child in the country, even those who don't have this toxic poison implanted in their mouths. Mercury damages the body, the mind, and the environment. The World Health Organization has identified dental amalgam as the major source of mercury contamination in the human body. Worse than lead and even arsenic, mercury is the most toxic non-radioactive element and the most volatile heavy metal on Earth. Most people would be shocked to discover that these silver fillings are composed of over 50% mercury. The average American has 10 amalgam fillings. That's about 5 grams of mercury. If that much mercury were spilled on a factory floor, the entire factory would be shut down. Some experts believe that up to 90% of Americans are adversely affected by low-level mercury poisoning. In fact, as you watch this video, you are probably slowly poisoning yourself with mercury leaking from those silver fillings. Over 200 million Americans have had this highly toxic metal placed in their mouths, creating what many leading researchers believe to be a toxic time bomb. What's most puzzling is that mercury amalgam is legally treated as a highly dangerous material before it's placed in your mouth and after it is removed. However, for almost 200 years, traditional dentists have insisted that once the mercury is mixed into an amalgam and placed in your mouth, it becomes a safe and stable substance. We now know that this is absolutely false. This poisonous metal implanted in your teeth is continuously leaking into your body, where it accumulates over time. One of the damaging effects of low-level mercury poisoning is suppression of the immune system. That's why mercury leaking from your fillings could play a part in almost every illness, both major and minor, including cancer and chronic fatigue syndrome. In particular, conditions such as MS, ALS, Alzheimer's disease, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, and pain have been associated with the presence of mercury amalgam. Evidence also suggests that the development of obesity and Lyme disease may in part be caused by mercury amalgam. Low-level mercury toxicity can also affect the mind and emotions. These are some of the signs and symptoms of mercury toxicity: depression, anxiety, anger, irritability, restlessness, emotional instability, loss of memory, inability to concentrate, mental confusion, antisocial behavior, and even suicidal tendencies. The World Health Organization reports that mercury from amalgam and laboratory devices accounts for 53% of total mercury emissions, including mercury released from amalgams during cremation. They also report that 1/3 of the mercury in the sewage system comes from dental amalgam flushed down the drain in dental offices. The Environmental Protection Agency recognizes dental amalgam as a major source of mercury in the water. In December of 2010, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration convened a scientific panel to evaluate the safety of mercury amalgam. The scientists concluded that the FDA should stop amalgam use in children, pregnant women, and hypersensitive people. They insisted the FDA provide consumers with labeling containing clear warnings about the dangers of mercury in amalgams. Several days later, the FDA put out a summary of the 2-day meeting. The summary sounded more like an overview of how to perform better research on the topic. It did not seem to reflect the tone and spirit of the majority of panel members. This is the predictable FDA position. The FDA had similar scientific panels study the safety of mercury in dental fillings in 1991 and again in 2006. Despite the negative recommendations from the scientists on these panels, the FDA's position on the use of mercury in dental fillings remained unchanged, a complete cover-up and one-sided view of the dangers of mercury amalgam. History is about to repeat itself. Help us put an end to this. We're calling for an end to this social and environmental injustice. As a public agency, the FDA can be influenced if enough of us stand up and say, no more. No more mercury pollution. No more disregarding the feedback of their own scientists. And no more mercury amalgam. We want to petition the FDA to ban the use of mercury amalgam, especially for children and pregnant mothers. We want you to join us in this struggle. The FDA has 6 months to respond to the December 2010 panel's recommendations. Our intention is to gather at least 10,000 signatures over the next several months. We need your help in this effort. Please join us and help make this a safer world for mothers and children everywhere. To learn more about this issue, download your free copy of our special report, How to Stop Another FDA Whitewash. Then log on to www.banmercuryamalgam.com/membership and join us. Stand up for your rights and say, no more.